in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now, so I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball.
All right, I'm on a roll here. This is a second video in 2 weeks. I told you I was gonna make more of these. If you're watching this one, it means I already made the one with Reggie. And I'm starting off these videos by reaching out to people that I actually know, because I'm still very awkward on camera. But today I'm at my friend Gerard's house, who is one half, right? You're one half?
Yeah.
One half of SERIALNINE, who probably everyone knows. So we'll just get to it. We're here with G.
How's it going?
And what is this thing?
It's a 2002 Toyota MKII Blit.
You guys are the sedan kings. That, like, everyone who knows SERIALNINE knows.
Yes, we definitely are the sedan kings. We started out with sedans, but this happens to be the only JZX wagon. So
I don't know anything about Japanese, like the Toyota stuff, so I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah.
But I know that you and Kevin started SERIALNINE to make products for cars that shouldn't have these types of products.
Essentially, yes. Yeah.
When I first met you was like over 10 years ago.
Yes.
And you were doing stuff in your, kind of like this, like literally in a backyard,
we had,
in a little shop.
We had rented a house in South Van, and then we had to wait for the garage to become available to rent in addition. And then so it was actually really cool, one of those old school big garages that had a pit and stuff, and it was really huge. And that's where we did the Breed wide body. We like made it in that garage.
You had just like foamed the quarter panels.
Yeah.
And you were literally like sitting there shaving it how you wanted it.
Yeah,
and I remember watching you'd be sanding something and then you'd stand back like 10 feet and be like, yeah, that's it. And now that kit's pretty popular for, I mean, as far as how popular that car isn't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was long standing the only and kind of, I guess, in our opinion, the cleanest looking wide body for that car. So that's for GS300s and Aristos and stuff. And I previously had an Aristo that had that wide body on it. And it was really cool. We actually campaigned a car in Formula D, and that's what we were scrambling to make the body kit for, was like this Formula D car. And it was like, you know, like a good effort, but it just didn't really work out. But I mean, we're more street guys, right? So
I saw a local guy, maybe we can get him on here one day. He molded the kit into his Aristo.
Yeah, Will's car.
Yeah,
that car looks really good.
That one's tight.
Yeah.
So, I think anyone who knows SERIALNINE wants to know a bit more about the fitment, so we'll get into that.
Okay. So yeah, it's on 18s. It's 9.5, 10.5. This was, in my opinion, the most aggressive wheel size I could put on here. I wanted this to be a daily driver car. I wanted it to be fully functional, but like the most aggressive that you could possibly have. A functional, like, and I'm talking like the fenders don't rub the tires,
which is insane.
I can get into most driveways. I mean, it scrapes underneath all the time, which is fine, but like it doesn't scrape the kit.
Like you're not taking bumpers off when you go into places.
No, that's key too, right? Because like I need to be able to like look good all the time. So yeah, it's like 9.5, 14, 10.5 plus 17. And I think it's 7 degrees of camber all around in order to kind of fit those wheels functionally.
And you're not one of those guys that likes to put air ride on anything.
No, this is not air. This is static. It's 100% how I drive the car all the time. So
you can kind of tell like how much tilty there is.
Yeah. So yeah, it has in order to be able to drive this low, one of the key things is the shortened spindle. So we shorten the upright 40 millimeters. And then you have like a roll center adjuster underneath. Essentially, you're just building a drop spindle.
Yeah.
And so what that allows is just way more travel. So this car actually will tuck, you know, all the way up to here till the tire touches all the way at the top there. And the car is literally on the ground. So
you keep most of like the factory geometry.
Or...
You try to, yeah. So like, yeah, the lower arm goes down, the upper arm comes down with it, and then the geometry is closer to stock. Instead of being totally like this, the arms are more like that.
Right. So you're just bringing the wheels up.
Yeah, essentially bringing the wheels up 2 inches,
right,
or almost 2 inches. Yeah, and then so this has a prototype aluminum upper arm. We moved to aluminum. We're moving to aluminum for all of our arms lately.
Do you have a picture of it?
I do, yeah.
You send me a picture of it.
Okay, yeah, I can send you a picture.
I
have like a pan over video, but it's like, I think a cell phone. It's been on my car for almost a year.
Daily driving the kids to daycare.
Daily driving the kids to daycare.
They saw your daughter playing in the car.
Yeah, yeah. I drove her to daycare every day for like a while. I didn't drive her every day for the entire year, but yeah, like I drive this car, I would say half the time. Yeah. And lately it's my only street car, so it's nice out and it's a summer car, right? So yeah, in the back we have subframe and diff bushings. So when you have fitment like this, there's literally 0 millimeters.
Yeah.
For when it goes up, so you can't have the subframe like moving around. So solid subframe bushings. This thing actually has prototype polyurethane diff bushings that we're doing, so that's kind of something. I swapped out the solid ones for poly ones.
It's just for like more daily comfort.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So it's like a really weird balance. Like normally we just be like, a lot of people too, they kind of just like buy all the crazy stuff. You buy all the crazy stuff, and you took this car that was like once pretty nice to drive on the street, and now it's just like basically a race car. And I'm a bit older. I try to, my wife wants to ride in this car sometimes, and then I bring my kids in it. So it's kind of trying to find this really finite balance of like, I have a twin plate clutch, but I have poly diff mounts to kind of make everything a bit more like sedate.
Yeah.
And then I have engine mounts.
That's also kind of interesting because like you started this, SERIALNINE.
Yeah.
To build parts to do stuff that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And then you get older like me, we're both dads.
Yes.
And you hate to say it, but you eventually admit to yourself that you start to mature.
Yeah. Well, for a car that you need to drive all the time.
Necessity breeds innovation.
Yes.
And so like I need something better than stock, but I don't want the solid bushings.
Yes.
It needs to be a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, there has to be like a little bit of give, for sure. Yeah. So even same thing, like this car has our engine mounts, but I recently just swapped them for like the softer durometer because should we wait for that to be over?
We should go get some.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah, so with the original like pretty hard durometer, it was just, it's aggressive, right?
Yeah.
So like, every light, you fire it up and it's just vibrating everywhere. Like get up to speed and it's just like everything's just so crazy. So dial the engine mounts back a bit, dial the diff mounts back a bit. Because like you sure aren't dialing the suspension back a bit.
No.
It has to look like this.
It still has to look this way, but you want
it has to handle well, and it has to be able to drive.
There's some things that we won't give up, and that is
Exactly.
the stance.
Yes.
You won't give up the stance.
Yeah, you have to look at it and be like, yeah, that's sick. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's sick.
I think a lot of people would agree
with me not being a Japanese car guy, but when I see this, the first thing I think of is like that looks like a CTSV.
Yes.
It looks like a Cadillac, but then like every Japanese car, it's like a smaller packaged CTSV.
For sure.
I love the rear. I love wagons.
Yeah.
And I love that rear.
Yeah, I mean the taillights, I thought these are just so cool.
Well, that's part of what gives it that kind of Cadillac vibe too.
This is the Series 2 taillight, so it's all LEDs and stuff. The other one actually has a white strip that comes up, and I thought that was cool, but I just put these on recently because I thought, well, I'll switch up the look a bit. But yeah, so this car, when it was imported, was a 2-liter inline 6 with the absolute, lowest motor that they make. And I thought, okay, whatever, because I previously had a Verosa, and I pillaged the drivetrain out of that and sold the shell. Right. So I had the engine, I kept the diff and axles, all the like extra stuff that I thought I would need. Mm-hmm. But little did I know that the GX actually has way more differences than I thought.
Oh, so this turned into a project.
Well, it turned into a fact that like I no longer can have ABS, and like there's a whole bunch of like other little things that like I didn't know that were like way different. Right. And I probably like in hindsight.
Jeez.
In hindsight, I probably would have just bought an NA JZX wagon or just the JZX turbo wagon and sold the drivetrain because, there's a bunch of stuff that like it's sort of just incompatible.
Right. Let's pop the hood. Let's show.
A big difference between the Crown Wagon and this one is this car in the sedan version came manual, so I could just buy the center console, the e-brake, the pedals.
The interior was a bit easier to.
The interior was significantly easier to say. Yeah, if you look at any Crown that's been manual swapped, the e-brake is some butcher job between the seat and the console.
Right.
The pedals are out of a different car. It all sort of fits, but yeah. So this is a 1JZ.
This is a stupid question for most people watching, but what did this come in North America? Nothing.
The 1J? Nothing.
Nothing. So the 2J was what came in like the
2J
Supra
came,
and stuff?
yeah, it only came in the Supras here.
Okay.
Oh, actually no. And the turbo, yeah, only came in the Supra.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is a VVTi motor. The VVTi 2J, I don't think ever even came to North America.
Gotcha. And then you got
turbo upgrade. That's a Spectrum Motorsports.
SR400. Our buddy's Chris.
Yeah, another like.
I'm gonna try and get in touch with him.
Yeah,
I think people want to see it. Does he still have his Nissan?
Yes.
240,
the crazy thing.
240?
Yes. All right, with the
cool.
VK. Yeah, Chris is like.
He's a local turbo hero.
The hardest working guy in the entire world.
Yeah, he works 27 hours a day.
Yes. So yeah, this car is a 1JZ and it has our CD Pro adapter kit. So it has a 350Z, or actually has a 370Z transmission.
Oh, cool.
The CD009, if you know. This one's using an OS Geek and clutch, so it's a twin plate. You know, it makes the rattly sound, super dope. But it's a sprung center, so it's streetable.
Going back to that old man.
Exactly,
old man
right?
vibes.
So it's like you want all the craziness. I mean, it holds like 700 foot-pounds of torque or something.
Yeah.
And it is, I mean, if you're like a new standard driver or like not experienced, it's definitely aggressive.
Yeah.
But for someone who, you know, has lots and lots
if
of
you're driving a drift car on the weekends, this is actually a really comfortable compromise to
exactly.
that.
So I have 1000cc injectors, and then we're going back to AES to re-dyno and sort of set it up. And so this setup should be good for 350 wheel. That's kind of my goal for the street. It's 350 wheel. I mean, it's got 7 degrees of camber. It's not super usable. You just want to kind of be able to do burnouts and go sideways when you want, and like sound really sick, right?
I think what's really cool about you and SERIALNINE, like you and Kevin, is you've made a way to make form meet function.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just do it
barely. But yeah.
I know, but we've talked about it before years ago. We talked about how a lot of people just do it wrong. They do it wrong to get the right look.
Yes.
And
very common today, especially with Instagram, TikTok, and stuff. And I mean,
we won't get into that.
Yeah, it's like more camber, more lip, more crazy, and it's like, okay, like when does it end? At some point, it's like it looks cool, it looks no, and then it's like, and then it looks really bad. You know what I mean?
And even still, to that, like, you know, playing devil's advocate, this to most people also does look too much.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a style.
Yeah,
but you've made it functional, which
it is
cool.
functional, and I mean that's the thing too. Is normally you'd want the wheel to be closer to the fender, but this car gets full lock.
Yeah,
like I can do full lock, I can do a U-turn, and this thing has a lot of angle because of the angle kit. So like, I want this to be able to drift and not shred my newly painted fenders. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why it has to have a lot of that sort of gap at the top. But yeah. Other things, it came with the aero. This is my favorite aero kit. That's like a factory aero kit that comes on this car.
Yeah, I like this.
So it's super cool. This is a different grill than mine came with. It's just the nicer grill.
Well, as far as like R&D, like development cars goes, I think this is arguably one of the coolest ones.
Yeah, no, it's.
But cool. I'm partial to wagons.
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved wagons too. I've had like X7 wagon. One of my first cars was a Cortina wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have like a really sick X7 wagon.
You even had a slammed MPV. I remember
MPV,
seeing you downtown
I had the
one
MPV.
time.
I had a Suzuki Esteem wagon. I've even had a Crown wagon before. Like I had a Crown wagon for almost 9 months.
Yeah, I remember that car.
And then, I had a Stagia wagon. 2 Stagia wagons.
Yep.
I had the C34 Stagia, and then now I have the M35 Stagia.
But you went back to Toyota.
Went back to Toyota, yeah. That's a great car, by the way, the M35 Stagia, which is sort of the direct competitor.
Is that's the one that a lot of guys are doing like the R34 front ends on?
Yeah, that's a terrible idea, but yeah, like this is a Stagia. Let's just embrace the Stagia. Like it's actually like one of the best looking front ends in that Nissan sort of like generation. Like G35 front end, terrible. Like 350Z, like kind of bunk.
I wonder how many people are going to disagree with you.
Probably a lot, because they don't even know what a good stager looks like. You know what I mean? But like, if I can give you some photos, you can kind of put them in there. You'd be like, yo, that thing looks sick. Like,
okay.
Fully.
Okay,
just...
give me the photos. I'll put them in. I'll put them in right here.
That's good.
And then we'll let people comment on that.
Oh yeah. So the exhaust, it's I guess it's sort of conservative in my books, which is basically a straight pipe with a single tiny muffler in the bottom. This thing sounds amazing.
We can go down the street somewhere. I get some clips of it.
Okay.
And then we'll take some photos.
Yeah, we probably need to leave my neighborhood.
Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100 bands. I deserve another 100 fans. Told them this was always in the plans. I just did it cause they said I can. Blowing euros when I'm down in France. Labels asking how I build a brand. Told them put a check up in my hands. Boy got time, no cap. Made a few checks, but they all in the rest. Had a few friends, but they suck in the past. I don't even trip when I'm thinking about that. Hopped in the whip and we all in black. Shawty